Hi everyone, welcome to Activate. Hope you're enjoying being in our fast lane, using those key behaviors Kristen talked about, enrolling, retaining, and advancing. And one of the tools we have to help you with enrolling, retaining, and advancing are our incredible products. Yes. And that's here what we're going to talk about today. We're going to dive in a little bit more, but our products, guys, are different. You take our products to help your body make what it needs for health. So we've got NRF2, helping your body make those antioxidants, liquid collagen, helping your body produce and make its own collagen, and then our amazing mind-body GLP-1 system, kind of the newest to the activation lineup, helping our bodies activate production of GLP-1. So I've got two amazing consultants with me. I'm so excited to dive into this conversation. You guys bring an incredible wealth of knowledge, both on the business side and the product side, and really, I think, do an incredible job of using the products as tools to actually grow your business, right? So we've got Dr. Dondee Nettles with us. I have such good things to say about you, your partnership, your incredible, he's an SAB member. Thank you so much. And Sandy McClure, you're kind of my go-to when it comes to like, give it to me straight. What are these products all about? Helping customers and consultants both. So let's just dive in. Let's just start. Let's lean in first to the mind-body GLP-1 system. Sandy, this one's for you. How are you seeing new interest because of this product? How is it increasing momentum for you business-wise?
Well, thank you for having me here. Yes. And I'm excited to talk about this because as if Protandim and collagen weren't enough. And that's what I love about being part of LifeVantage. There's always something better. When you think it's great, yep, and it couldn't get any better, it always does. And so thank you for all of that. But one of the nice things about this is I have a history of just being in wellness and weight management and just coaching people along to a better, healthy lifestyle. Yeah. And so when this was introduced last summer and I heard about this, I was so excited. And not just because of the buzz or the craze around that, because this is different. And we are set apart from everything. And so what it has done for my business is, number one, I think sometimes we tend to get comfortable after collagen came out, then people kind of get quiet about it. I don't know why that happens, but this gave us another new thing to talk about, to come back to people who maybe were just kind of not asking any more questions, to say, hey, there's something new coming. How would you like to activate your life again?
Yeah, I love that you used it and went back to people that maybe weren't interested, maybe didn't understand the concept, but used it as a tool to say, hey, we're still here, we're still activating.
Yes, and I personally, I've had amazing results with this. There is not one product that I'm never going to try myself, and I think that is the case in the group that I have in our business builders, and our just as people who are not even really building businesses, but consultants who had not even really enrolled for a long time. I was seeing people's name on the enrollment list who I've never seen on there, because it's a conversation that everybody wants to have. I mean, you can talk about collagen, and that's great. Not everybody's really going to be interested in collagen. A lot of people are.
Sure.
But when you're talking about weight management, that's a conversation a lot of people are open to talking about. Yeah. And just because it's the buzz of the GLP-1, that opens us up to talk about how different our products are. And Dondee and I have had a really great opportunity to have a couple of webinars where we've been able to talk about that and really educate some of the field on just about how this is different from what else is out there.
Talk to me about, I guess for both of you, the high-speed health stack, because that's kind of our focus with our Fast Lane Summer. What do you love about it? How do you, in these conversations that you're having people, how are you using that stack in particular? NAD is the free product in the US that's being comes along with that stack. Tell me about that conversation and maybe how you're leaning into that.
It's a great conversation because I think from the mind-body perspective, the conversation on a mass scale has already begun. we don't have to start a new conversation. We're coming from a standpoint that people have already heard of GLP-1, which means they're already interested, and they've also heard of the negative side of GLP-1, what they haven't heard as of the natural side. They've heard the synthetic side and the limitations that come along with it, but they haven't heard the natural side. In other words, when the body starts creating it on its own. So that's the entry point. But capitalizing on top of that, if you're activated already with the Protandim NRF2, you're going to have a much greater conversation or a much greater experience with the product, therefore leading to a much deeper conversation. And then you add the fat burn and you add the NAD. I kind of look at the NAD like this, is if you have a bunch of professional musicians and you've got the brass section where you've got some trombones, you've got some trumpets, maybe some saxophones, and then you've got the percussion section. You've got some drums, you've got some cymbals, and then you've got the stringed instruments. You've got the cellos, the violins, the stand-up bass. If they're all professional caliber musicians, but there's nobody coordinating all of that, which is where the conductor comes in, you have very highly skilled musicians making noise. And so NAD is what takes all of those sirtuins, those 7 sirtuins, which are analogous to those professional musicians, and brings them all together so they can make music. And so with the foundation of NRF2, and where we're taking oxidative stress away or out of the body or limiting it dramatically, throwing on top of that the body's ability to create its own GLP-1 and balance the entire process of food and hunger and all of that, and have fat burn on top of that to get to the visceral fat, and then you throw on top of that orchestration of all that music, you've got an incredible pack. And that high-speed pack is just crazy, the potential. But it's I think I love it because the conversation is already there. We just have to add other elements that people have never heard before.
Yeah. So activation, obviously, well, by the way, I love that. I might be stealing that kind of analogy with that conductor and all those areas of music. That's brilliant. But setting expectations with our product is different because sometimes it's not something you feel or even kind of see right away. So activation's more of a lifestyle, right?
Exactly.
Like quick wins are really important. They can show themselves too, but how do you make sure you're setting proper expectations when it comes to activation?
Yeah, so great question. And I kind of look at it this way. We're either activating or we're deteriorating. And if you look at that from just the human life cycle, when we're born, the first phase of life is we're growing. And under normal circumstances, nothing dies while it's growing. So if something does, it's completely abnormal. We get through the growth phase, and then we have a phase where we kind of plateau when we're thriving. We're at our cellular max, and then eventually the aging process starts, where it's our first gray hair or our first crow's feet or our first achy joint, whatever it is, and we all remember when that happens. And then it's that slow, gradual decline for most people. But we're not talking about...
Or rapid decline.
Right. Well, ideally rapid, because if we're talking about a slow, gradual decline, we're talking about lifespan. But a bigger conversation is health span. So if we can maintain that high health to the ends of our life and then have a rapid drop off, that's how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to just go to sleep and not wake up. And so if they do an autopsy, there was no COD, no cause of death. Most people don't have that experience. They get diagnosed 20 years previously and they slowly work their way into the grave. That's what I love about this is activation, because we're either activating or we're deteriorating. And our products give us the ability to maintain not only that high caliber of life, but that thriving part of life as long as possible.
I feel like everyone needs to make sure that's in their notes. That's a takeaway for me in this conversation for sure. Activation or deterioration.
Yeah.
And if you're not activating, you're going to be on that decline because your body's not producing, it's not holding what it needs to, right? Like that's powerful. So back to kind of the expectation piece of that. What do you tell people they're going to feel? What's this experience going to be like when you start taking activation?
It's a great question, but I don't know if there's a cookie cutter answer because everybody's going to have a different experience based on, are they activated already? Is activation new to them? In that entire health continuum, where are they when they become activated? And so let them know there is going to be some change. Some may feel it, some may not. It doesn't mean it's not happening. And that's where we can rely on the science that we know it's happening, whether or not we have a demonstrable feeling.
Yeah.
Or we just know and we can trust in the science. That's what I love about our products is we're not leveraging friendships here, telling people to trust us. Trust is earned, it's not mandated. And when we can show by a product experience or proving what we're talking about with a scientific study, or someone says, oh my gosh, my experience has been great. We've got these wonderful before and after pictures that go along with the science, that go along with the stories. We don't have to fabricate or embellish anything. Yeah. It's just a matter of we need to show people what they are and how to get them into their bodies to start that thriving, start that activating as soon as possible. Yeah. But it's a lifestyle, to your point. It's a lifestyle. It's not a quick fix.
Yeah.
People, unfortunately, I think, have gotten so accustomed to quick fixes, though.
Yeah.
With diets. Diets are a quick fix, but the reason you need to go on a diet was not a quick response. It took maybe decades.
Yeah.
And so a fad of a diet will never overcome a trend of poor lifestyle choices. And that's the thing. Fads and trends coexist, but fads do not overcome trends.
Yeah.
You can exchange a new trend with an old trend and have a different caliber of life, but it may be 6 months, a year, 5 years down the road before you get to your ideal. Unfortunately, people want results now. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It depends on where they're all at.
But it's nice to be able to point back to like the clinical trials, right? Because that's what you said of like, well, here's what we know is happening inside of your body.
Yeah.
When you give your body what it needs to make health, that is happening. Those study results show that production of collagen, show the production of those antioxidants that are crucial for overall health. We're clinically shown to increase GLP-1. Those things are happening. We know those things, but like you said, that will look different in everyone as they kind of overcome those years of habits and other lifestyle changes and set the expectation that things are happening and getting back into balance. And we're going to work with your body instead of against it. What about you, Sandy? Like, are you fast results? You're the customer whisperer, I feel like.
Yes.
How do you approach this? Like, how do you speak to it? This is a long game here. We're not looking for those, and actually short-term results don't equal long-term results. How do you have that conversation?
Well, first of all, and I love that Dondee talked about, are you activated yet or not? Because, I can tell people I had really a great experience and I only added core and enhanced and I had some massive changes. But I have to remind them, I was already eating healthy. I was already exercising. I was already hydrating my body. I don't drink alcohol. So all of those things played into why I had the experience that I had. And I think that's really important that we remember that. I love that Dondee said the word exist. Because, you can either live to be 100 or you can exist to be 100.
Just existing.
Just existing. I want to live. I want to die young at a ripe old age. And so I feel that if I plant that in people's minds, because as a woman, I'm going to be 61. Actually, I am 61. I thought I was going to be 60, but I'm actually 61. Just turned 61, as a matter of fact. I didn't realize I could feel this good. Aww. But for the last 30 years, I didn't feel this way. And so I have spent a long time trying to get where I am now, or depleting where I am now. You can take that depending on who you're talking to. So what I tell people is you shouldn't be in a hurry because you've done this to yourself for a long time, depending on your age. And I have one of my customers who became a consultant because of her experience and is having really good success talking to other people. She told me, I am so glad that my body still trusts me after I've mistreated it for so long. Oh, and I thought that was really profound. Yeah. Wow. And she said, and she's had an amazing experience. And so I don't like to call it results because I really feel like the result is an end of something and this is just a continuation. So that's what I try to put in people's mind. We're not in a hurry here. So if you're not activated yet, let's get you activated. And Dondee and I talked about this before the product came out that, when we were on the product, but nobody else could get it. I said, let's prepare your gut because a great gut will enhance this experience. So we got them on the Gut Health Essentials stack with the prebiotic and the NRF2. And I asked them, are you willing to be patient with this? Because I don't want to know how you feel. I'm interested how you feel in a month. But let's be thinking about a year down the road. Yeah. And I think that if we say that, can you believe, or you probably don't have any idea the conversation we're going to have in a year. And when you put that in their mind, they're already thinking, okay, a year from now,
Yeah.
Now I get it, that this isn't just an overnight fix. Now, for some people, they'll see my pictures and have a picture of me last May, May of 2024 to this May. And I felt like I looked okay, but it's a profound difference. It's very different. And they said, yeah, but that took you a whole year.
Oh.
Well, those people who were telling me that are the people who still look the same from the first conversation we had to 6 months later because they didn't jump on board. And they're saying now, we're seeing that it's taking time, but in a year, look at the changes I have. And for some people who say, I only lost 10 pounds in a year, I don't know how much weight I've lost. I don't care about the scale. I know how I feel and how I look. But if you were to lose 10 pounds this year and keep that off, and then lose 10 pounds again next year and keep that off, that's 20 pounds off in 2 years, as opposed to losing 20 pounds in a month and gaining 40 and being heavier. And it's just a really big mindset that we have to change with people. So we have to let them know we aren't in for a quick fix. This is longevity. And so again, and that was a long way of telling them, just prepare them that this is not a quick fix, and they will respect that. Then it comes down to their decision.
Yeah. And to me, I'm the type of person of just seeing those results. I don't care how long, like, I want that. I want to feel that. And I think I love your after picture because you can just, not only do you look fantastic, you can see the energy and the vibrancy, the things you can't visualize. You see that in you. And I hope everybody would want that and commit to improving their health that way. Dondee, we kind of going back, GLP-1, I think you mentioned it, really hot kind of topic right now, right? Kind of in the marketplace as this quick fix or something that we can do very quickly and have big results. So how are you expanding the conversation? Because obviously GLP-1 is a fantastic kind of intro to activation. Let's activate your body. GLP-1 hormone is something your body is fully capable of producing. Let's make sure we're optimizing that and get that back working the way it's meant to be, that natural approach. But obviously, great lead in. Other products, though, expand that conversation. What does that look like for you? And what does that look like for your business?
Well, I think from an entrepreneurial standpoint, when you look at what people want, and why are the people that are taking the GLP-1 agonists, the synthetic versions, what are they looking for? They're looking for feeling better in their own skin. They're looking to fit into a tuxedo because they've got a wedding coming up and they're the best man in 3 months. So they've usually got some kind of reason, or they got a negative health report. And then all of a sudden they become very, very focused on a short-term gain of losing weight, not realizing the lifestyle that put them in that situation in the first place. And so starting with that conversation, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to change your lifestyle? Are you willing to drink water every day? Are you willing to move? Are you willing to eat good food and focus on the positive things and prioritize protein and all the things that we talk about with our activation accelerators, just to kind of give a litmus test of, is this a person who may have a short-term experience, give credit to the product, and then 6 months later, they've gained all the weight back and we're having the conversation over again. Because statistically speaking, most people who get in that kind of a conversation, they're looking for a short-term fix for that wedding or for that fitting into that tuxedo. And then once they do, they go right back to where they were before. That's just, we're dealing with that population as a whole. So if we can realize that's the reality, and while we've got their ear, show them the importance of making a lifestyle choice to make this a permanent outcome, like Sandy was saying, lose 10 pounds this year, lose 10 pounds next year, and then you've lost 20 pounds, but you've gained the overall confidence and how much better you look, versus losing the 20 pounds just to gain it back plus an additional 20. It's a lifestyle choice. And I think when you break it down and have those conversations, you can kind of figure out the person who's just looking for the short-term fix, which I'll still allow them to purchase it, but let them know you're probably, unless something changes, we may be having this conversation again 6 months from now. What do you really want? To fit into a tuxedo, to go to a wedding, or to live longer for yourself and your family and extend your family legacy? I love having those personal conversations to establish hierarchy of importance on why does this product even appeal to them? And having the true, candid conversation.
So how do you, if someone realizes that, like, oh my gosh, thank you, because you're right, I need to be focused long-term. I want to be around for my family. I don't want to be deteriorating anymore.
Right.
How do you intro some of the other products? Because sometimes this is the first time people have heard about activation, and this idea of supplementation, kind of this new approach was great and something our bodies, need, but activation going a step further. How do you make sure that those enter the conversation and that there's that aha kind of comes about in that of, you're right, my body is capable of this.
Yeah.
What else you got, Dondee?
Then it's just a matter of once we have that agreement, then kind of layering onto that, well, how far do you want to take this? What is your vision on this? Because we can activate a lot of different ways of your body functioning. How many of them are you interested in hearing about? And I kind of look at it this way. I like to use analogies and tell stories. Yeah, so I love the analogy when I was taught when a little kid, and most people here in the States, they are taught the whole story about the 3 little pigs and the big bad wolf. And it's from the pig standpoint, nothing really matters until the big bad wolf shows up. And so the pig who's in the straw house was fully content until the big bad wolf huffed and puffed and blew the house over. And then the same thing with the pig in the wood house. They didn't really even consider it until the big bad wolf showed up. So analogous to life, we may be living a quality of life and we think it's okay until we don't feel right. Well, the reality of it is you are creating the house you're living in with every single time you put a fork to your mouth and the lifestyle choices that you make. And so that happy pig who's in the brick house or the stone house or whatever version your parents told you, it doesn't matter when the big bad wolf showed up and huffed and puffed because he's happy. And so when we can activate as many pathways in our body, we build that rock house. So when stress comes, we lose a job, we lose a family member, we've now got to take care of our parents because they're aging, whatever it is, biologically, we are better capable of handling that situation. And it's just, I may handle conversations differently than other people because I'm looking at it from my background as a healthcare provider, but as an entrepreneur, realizing there is no other company having this kind of conversation.
Absolutely.
With the scientific validity that backs it up. But I know the world wants this. They're looking for it. They just don't know we're here. And when somebody has an aha moment, and they have, not only do they lose weight, they feel better, they're, whatever the case may be, they feel better in their own skin, they tend to get pretty excited, confident, and loud about it. And that story builds other stories, and it's that ripple in the pond. It's
fun to build the brick house.
It is.
And feel protected.
Yeah. And most people get it when I use that. They're like, oh, I never thought of it that way. Yeah. Well, then stop digging your grave with your fork and start making some better lifestyle choices.
Yeah.
And we've got the ability to layer that. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's incredible. You hit on lifestyle too. With MB, we introduced our activation accelerators because it is about lifestyle. You both have mentioned that. Activation accelerators aren't like crazy. They're not. They're 10 things that are pretty much everyone should be doing. It's the lifestyle things that just we all know that have been hard, maybe though, to overcome. Sleeping, getting those 7 to 8 hours at minimum, drinking water. How do you educate on these? Because I bet people look at the list and like, oh, that's pretty basic. Like, thanks for the info. But how do you really show, no, it's about these basics. It's about these products, but the lifestyle component. Have any tips on incorporating those activation accelerators into the conversation?
Oh, I do.
Please.
I love coaching, and we do have a specific Facebook group for coaching specifically, separate from our product page, so that we're not inundating people who don't want to hear about that.
Yeah.
But who doesn't want to. And I just tell people, speaking of bricks, you have most people who've battled this all their lives. When they are looking at changing their lifestyle, they see this huge brick wall in front of them. And they're just looking at it so overwhelmed. And they don't realize that to take that down or to get to the other side, get through that wall, we just take down one brick at a time. And it really is that simple. And so when I coach these challenges, I've done 75 hard myself. If people aren't familiar with that, it's just habits and disciplines. And it's not about weight loss. It is about mental toughness and overcoming what you think you can't do. And it's all about prioritizing and putting your life into perspective and saying, okay, these are things that are non-negotiables. I'm going to do this. For me, I want to be around for my grandkids. I want to be able to lift them. I want to be able to do all the things. And so this is why I do this. And then when I am leading the group, then I have to walk the walk. And so what I just tell people, we have a checklist, and it's just checking this off. And in the first few weeks, or maybe the first few days, depending on the person, once again, it might be hard for them. And I get this all the time. I always say feedback. It was so hard to drink half my weight in ounces in water. But a week from then, they're like, I feel so much better because I'm hydrated. My digestive health is better and everything. And so once they get through that process, just like anything else, they do those daily tasks, check that list off. In about 3 weeks, it becomes just what you do. And you don't even think about it. And so that's basically what I do. And I did want to touch on, how I incorporate other products. Anytime I get a new customer, or even a consultant, I send them a thank you for trusting me. And it's always a shaker bottle with every flavor of Axio in it and a little description on how to use that. Very rarely do people come in on Axio. Sometimes they do because it's an impact product. You actually feel that. But if they don't, they're getting it in the mail in a nice little package with a personal note. Thank you for trusting me. So good. And what do you think goes in on their next subscription? Axio, because they love how they feel. And so those little things in our coaching group, we educate. We're not just educating on the products, but when I talked the other day about the fiber, and people might feel a little bit of discomfort when they drink the Enhance, I said, then make sure you're not taking any other kind of fiber in at the same time. That could cause, that's just fiber overload on your body.
Sure.
And they didn't realize that, but each day we have a tip on that, but we're also talking about how these products enhance that digestive health. And so education is important. And if you're not sure how to do that, then just go to the frequently asked questions on your site, and that's your homework. That's how you learn. That's how you learn. That's how I did. I printed those off. I'm old school, and I just read those so that they call them frequently asked questions for a reason, because people frequently ask them, and then you know how to answer them. You don't have to reach out to anybody else. It's right there. If you still have questions, then you can reach out to corporate. Product questions at LifeVantage.com, right?
That's right.
Or your upline, but you have the opportunity. You study to learn things. Study the frequently asked questions.
Yeah, I love that. Use the tools that you have available. Your website is a treasure trove of info. There's a lot of great groups that are loaded. Yeah, the hub. Thank you.
Incredible.
And if you're Summer in the Fast Lane, a plug for our amazing social campaign that we have going, where you can do these activation accelerator focused challenges and really gear your things around there. Your content around those.
Such an exciting
Just pull
time.
from that. Don't overthink it.
It's so exciting.
All right. So back on Summer in the Fast Lane, what are your goals? Just give it to me really quick. We don't need to overthink this. Dondee, business and health. Go.
Business is to help as many of our people get to the SC1 and MC1 ranks as possible. And for myself, now that I've turned 60, I'm looking at things a little differently. For my personal goal is to be harder to kill. Literally, because I see people that are choosing to slowly do it themselves, and I want to hold this off as long as possible and bring the challenges. And this equips me to do that.
Love that. Can we commit to a number on that SC1? How many SC1s in your org?
I would say 20 in the next 90 days for this summer.
That's incredible.
Minimum
Let's
20.
do it.
Yeah.
Great. And I love that. The health side. Harder to kill.
Harder to kill.
You're doing that. That's a pretty easy goal. You're taking those products every day. What about you? What's your
those
health business?
Those business goals are about the same as mine. Okay. And I think the best part is we want to help other people get to where we are. If we help enough people, then we don't have to worry about ourselves personally. But yes, and the incentives that are put out there are pretty amazing. And so those are all geared toward just doing the right things. And so if you just do those things and share, we need more messengers out here. So don't just, for me, it's not just about customers. I need more messengers. I need more people helping me talk about these products. As far as the health goals, I've been working at this, and my goal is to just be able to carry my groceries in, to be able to pick my grandkids up, to be able to chase them around. I'd love to lift 40-pound grain sacks. I'm going to have a goal of maybe trying to lift that maybe 50 times in a row to just go with
I
this
love
one.
that.
So,
That feels like a social challenge that I'd love to see a video
wouldn't that be
on.
fun?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna.
Okay, end of summer, we're gonna get that video, right?
Okay.
We're gonna get that footage.
Okay.
Okay.
And when you
let's
say
do
it out loud, you kind of have to do it.
I know.
Right.
And I said it for you. I
Okay.
committed to the video part of this, the
Okay.
documentation.
Okay.
All right. Well, that is our time. Thank you both for joining me. Such good information. I think just validation in what we have here from our incredible products, this concept of activation or deterioration, the impact that we can have, and how cool is it that we can align a business with health and with longevity and with really empowering people to have a better life and to focus long-term. Because again, those short-term wins are great. We hope you have them and feel them, but we're focused on that long-term, empowering our bodies. Thank you both for being here. Thank you guys for listening in. Let's have an incredible fast summer in the fast lane.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Activation Nation podcast. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for future episodes and updates, and share with a friend or prospect that you think could benefit from today's conversation. Check the episode description for any links or disclaimers, and we'll see you next week for another episode. And now, the legal stuff. The sales earnings disclosed are potential gross earnings and do not account for expenses incurred in building a business. The average 12-month earnings of a typical U.S. consultant who earned in 2024 are $683. LifeVantage does not guarantee any income or rank success. A consultant's earnings will depend on individual diligence, work effort, and market conditions. Visit the LifeVantage Income Disclosure Statement for more information. Results may vary. Typical weight loss using this product in a 12-week weight management program is 1 to 2 pounds per week. This product should be used in conjunction with a healthy diet and regular exercise. Consult with a healthcare provider before starting any weight loss program.